Welcome to Paris Undressed, the podcast where we go behind the scenes of the lingerie capital of the world to explore femininity and sensuality. It is an honor and an absolute delight to be in the company and energy of my guest, Julia Palombe. A prolific and multi-talented artist, Julia's creative essence exudes desire and joy. With love and humor, Julia dares us to enjoy the pleasures of life, and the beauty and power of sensuality infuses her music, writing, and performances. The art of living and living your art will be the subject of today's conversation as we discover the world of Julia, the woman, the artist, the mother, and the daughter.
Just a quick note before we begin. Due to the lockdown, Julia is at home, and from time to time we can hear her baby daughter Gina enjoying life and exploring the glory and range of her own voice.
Because this is Paris Undressed, and we like to start with underneath it all first, tell me about your first bra.
My first what?
Your first bra.
Bra?
Your first
My
bra.
first bra. Look, I was quite old because I was 17. And I was in a cabaret company because I was already doing my job, my passion, dancing. And the choreographer, he saw me in the street without no bra, and I had no high shoes, you know, just I was a little girl. And he said, this woman, she's my dancer. She needs to wear a bra and wear high heels. And so he gave money to an older dancer. And then we went to buy a bra. It was my first bra.
With your choreographer?
Yeah, no, with an old dancer of the company, older dancer than me.
Okay. And where did you go to buy your first bra?
It was in Avignon, in France, and we went in. It was lingerie, but like Etam, you know, a big lingerie shop, and yeah.
You're in Avignon, and you're with a dancer. And you're buying your first bra, and you're in. You walk into a boutique, Etam, and Etam is a chain of lingerie stores.
Yeah.
And what was a bra something you were proud to be buying? Were you excited, or was it really just something that you couldn't be bothered with?
I was quite exciting because for me the bra was to be a woman. It was something very sexy. And so I was discovering this part of myself, and I was quite exciting. And I remember I bought a bra a little bit, like push-up, not really push-up, but something like I was feeling really, like a woman.
Okay. And do you remember the color? Do you remember if there was a pattern?
It was a red bra.
Your first bra was a red bra at 17 years old.
It was a red bra, and it was. I don't know. I was feeling sexy because it kind of pushed my breast like this, you know, in the middle.
Yeah, towards each other and a little bit of lift. And how about the underwear? Did you buy the matching underwear?
No. This I waited to have like 30, you know. To buy a complete.
It's because sometimes it's the myth, preconception that all French women wear matching bras and underwear.
No, it's true. I think it's true from the city, the women from the city. But for me, you know, I was a country girl, and the country girl, it's not the same. They are not used to this kind of lingerie. That's why and it's interesting because your podcast is Paris Undressed, and it's because it's really something with Paris. Mm-hmm. For me, the first time I bought the complete lingerie, I was not 30. I was like 30, 20, 25, 27. But it was the first time I was in Paris, really. because it really matches with Paris.
Mm-hmm. The aesthetic of Paris, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girls from here, they always buy dessous, and they always, from the beginning, I mean, from when they are young, it's like in the education.
To buy the bra and the matching panties in Paris. Mm-hmm. Well, this takes us, interestingly, to the south of France, which is where you were born. You were born in Aix-en-Provence.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to be a young Julia growing up in the south of France?
It was wild. Because the countryside is wild. You know, you don't have a lot of people, so you have a lot of trees. And I remember my first audience, it was the trees in front of my house, you know. We didn't have neighbors. It was really something special. We had like animals and like a garden with potatoes, salads, carrots, blah, blah, blah. And I was always outside. In fact, my first word when I was like 1 year old is outside, you know. So it defines myself quite good. So I was always outside dancing for the trees, you know. For the forest. It's my remember. Then to go to school when I was 10, 11, when we go to college, I had to go to Aix-en-Provence. Aix-en-Provence, it was already the city for me. It was big. In reality, it's not a big city like Paris, but for me, it was something like, very different from where I was born. It was a first shock, but then I realized also that they went to museum, they went to movies, they went to catch a friend and do a little walk outside, or of course the boys and blah blah blah. And so I started to think, maybe I would like to go to the city, you know.
You've had this dream. You had a dream from when you were a little girl.
It was my dream, because my grandmother, she was not directing. She had movies in Marseille. She was like a movie star, you know, from Hollywood.
And your grandmother, she made movies, or she produced movies, or she starred in movies?
Produced, and she had like a cinema, you know. And so I was in this idea. I was, you know, looking like Marilyn Monroe and all these big stars, you know, Sid Charisse, and I was like, wow, I want to do like them. I want to sing and dance and play in movies.
You started as a dancer.
Yeah, because I can take my body where I want. You know, my body is with me. I was thinking like this when I was young. I was thinking like, I don't need a piano, I don't need a guitar, I don't need anything. I have my body with me. So it's cool.
And your body, we'll talk about this as well, but your body has actually been your closest form of art.
Yeah.
For everything. But you leave for Paris at what age?
25, I started to come and, you know, come back. And then 27, I really stopped in Paris.
Okay. And what is it about Paris that you love so much?
Paris is my dream, because Paris, it's all these arts together. It's all this romanticism, you know. And, you know, when I was watching this movie from France, I don't know if you know it. It's like, you know, from Godard, La Nouvelle Vague, all these films from Godard, La Nouvelle Vague. So when I came to Paris, I thought, it's my dream. I need to live here because everything is possible. You know, there is this energy and there is this possibility, a lot of theaters, and you can do whatever you want.
And you live in a particular part of Paris that you love. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I live with the artists. Yeah, I live in Montmartre. Well, actually, it's the first place where I came, because the first time I came to Paris, I was invited by a friend who is working in the cinema, and he was living in Montmartre. And so I arrived here in Montmartre, and Montmartre is so beautiful. And, it's artist's place. And it's also like a village. So it's, I know everybody in Montmartre, the coffee, the guy where I buy my apples. I don't know. I know everybody, and everybody knows me. And also I can go out like dressed like I want, It's like I have my mini short or mini skirt, and it's okay. And with all my colors and of my crazy glasses on me and my high heels, and it's okay because it's like they're used to. And I like this, that I can go out of my house like I want.
And the backdrop of Montmartre is certainly
it's a stage.
Is a stage, absolutely a stage.
Paris Undressed will be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome to Paris Underground Radio's The Heart of You. My name is Annette Delou. This is a podcast about soul exploration, finding out what your true purpose is in this lifetime through various modalities such as grounding and energy clearing, divination, and exploring your past lives. Over the next 20 episodes, I will also be interviewing experts in the fields of astrology, mediumship, as well as numerology. Join us every Thursday for a brand new episode. Go to parisundergroundradio.com for more information. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Paris Underground Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I look forward to walking this journey with you.
Hey, I'm Emily.
And I'm Caroline.
And we live in France, where pretty much every meal demands both a cheese course and a wine pairing.
Amen.
It doesn't need to be a special occasion for you to add this French flair to your daily meals, and we want to help you with that.
That's the thing. A great cheese and a delicious glass of wine can really elevate your at-home dining. However, even if it's a Tuesday night and you're by yourself.
Tuesday night by yourself is the perfect time.
Absolutely.
So get involved. Send us your favorite home meals. Describe the recipe. Let us know what it's all about. And we will put our palates and minds to the test. I'm going to pair it with the most complimentary cheese.
And I am going to figure out a perfect wine pairing.
Tune in on Fridays to hear some of our favorite pairings and to discover some brand new recipes that you can try at home.
Join our guests as we explore how to elevate your home-cooked food.
Can't wait to share these with you. Bon appetit!
And now, back to Paris Undressed.
Performance and provocation is very much part of your work. And you've been described as a mix between Betty Boop and George Sand.
Yeah.
And I read that and I just loved it because it is an odd mix of personnages, really, that you bring together. And for those of you who are listening, you can't see Julia at the moment, but you'll follow through the links and whatnot. But there is an art of performance and of dressing that is very much part of you, and the writing behind all of that as well. And I wanted to know what you thought about that combination of Betty Boop and George Sand.
Yeah, from the beginning of my life, it has always been something special with me, that I was of course a performer from the top, from the beginning of my life. I was a performer. It was obvious, even when I was 5 years old. But at the same time, I was writing down as soon as I knew how to write. I was writing down some poems, but it was really strong. It was something very important for me. And I remember when I was 14, because I had already a very good level of performance, of dancing, And so some people in conservatory, they wanted me to dance and only dance, and to stop school. And I was like, oh my God, it's not possible. I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I need to write down. I need to go on with literature and philosophy because it's so important and it nourishes my art, you know. And for them, it was really something special because it's like it was the first time for them that they see someone like me because you must understand dancing, it's like a question of life or death for me, you know. It's not a choice. It's not like, a wish, you know, I wish dancing. No, it's a question of life or death. So it's easy to understand. So they thought that I would say yes to anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I cannot say yes to abandonner, to let down literature. It's not possible. And so it was the first time when I was 14 that I say, no, I need to go on with writing down and performing. And so, you know, until now, it's the two part. I mean, it's two things really important. And I think Betty Boop and George Sand, it's really it's something really well sees about me because like actually Betty Boop, it's really like the art of teasing, the art of sensuality, and you know, there is something she's adored by women and by men, you know, but at the same time she was a figure of women libs from 1960, and so she was also someone who defends women's rights, you know. And George Sand, she is also, of course, defending women's rights, but I feel close because, of course, I don't hesitate to wear, you know, a man costume. And also I live with a genius compositor like her.
Well, what I find interesting with you is that you didn't feel like you had to give up one for the other, so that the same level of Betty Boop and George Sand, you didn't feel like you had to pretend not to be a woman or be more male. You could actually be in your version of whatever femininity and feminism means. You didn't have to renounce one to become the other. And I don't think that's easy for a lot of us. I certainly felt like I had to favor one and pretend that one didn't exist in order to sort of, I don't know, make it somehow, or it was difficult to keep at the same level. And
This is
you're very brave in just, this is who I am.
This is my chance. This is my freedom, and I know it's something very obvious in me. When you meet me, you see this. You see this freedom and this thing that I will not do concession. I will do. Yeah, I will be. I am what I am. You know, I am what I am. I am my own social exception.
You're always exploring the edges of femininity and masculinity, and it's not one versus the other. It really is this, and you talk about this a lot as well, that it's the male and the female together. It's not one versus the other. And I wanted to mention with the writing that the writing at the beginning was more linked to the dancing and the music, and that the writing then developed, and you've been an actress. You are an actress, which is often obviously repeating words that somebody else wrote, and that you've actually also started writing your own productions. And this is now, well, you know, we're out of Aix-en-Provence, we're well into Paris, and Julia has been on stage and in movies, but very recently began writing and wrote your own show, which you performed. And I'll add that the show, and then I'll let you fill in the pieces, was exactly at the same time that you were pregnant with your second child. And tell us about that.
It was a very strong experience. And actually very strong. I was pregnant, and I didn't think about it like, oh, I'm going to do a piece, you know. somehow it happens, but it really comes from inside, I was at the beginning of a pregnancy, and I had a little problem with my pregnancy, and so I was in the hospital, and we were not sure about my baby, if he will stay with me. And suddenly, I don't know, I thought, I'm gonna write a piece about making a baby, because suddenly I thought, everybody, thinks, make a baby. Not everybody, because women, mother, they know. But, in the society, somehow they think, make a baby. It's beautiful. It's, only beautiful, only pink world, And I was in this hospital, and it was like 4:00 in the morning, and I didn't know if I'm gonna have my baby or not, if he gonna stay. And I thought, shit, I have to speak about this, because it's not just one color, Again, I didn't want to show only one color. I thought making a baby, it's like an arc-en-ciel of colors. It's a lot
rainbow.
Of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to speak about it, because I'm feeling it right now, and I'm inside it, because I'm living it. So it's the best moment to talk about it. And I remember I thought, and even if I lost my baby, well, we will be together and we will talk about it. What can I do, And so it was something like, I think it was courageous from myself to do it, but for me it was a great pleasure. And I had a lot of messages from this piece, because a lot of people who came, they came to me after the show, and they, thank you, Julia, we were waiting for it, So I think it was a good choice.
You were in the hospital, and fortunately the pregnancy did continue, and your beautiful baby Gina was born. But tell us what the name of the show and how it was performed.
Okay, the name of the show is En attendant l'accouchement. You can still find it in the net. Huh?
It translates as waiting for delivery.
And so I start to write it down. I was like 3 months pregnancy, and 1 month later I was on stage. So it was really quick, and I found a theater, very cool. And so I start to do the show. I was on stage once a week, and I was making the show, evaluating with my pregnancy. It means if you came at the beginning and if you came back a few months later, it was different, because I was making the things, evaluating. So it was quite funny. I was saying things, because now you have application, on your mobile. And so they tell you everything, like the poids, how do you say the weight, and
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like a lemon. Okay, and now it's like a melon. Okay, etc. Watermelon, blah blah. So we were talking about this. It was very funny.
Well, it was a delight to watch, and as Paris has all these absolutely delightful theaters, you were the only one on stage. It was literally a one-woman show with the baby becoming more present. So Gina has had her first stage debut before she was even born. And within that show, there's always a lot of humor in your work.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of humor, but they're very important subjects that you talk about, or that you allude to, or that's just really part of you, whether it's motherhood, emancipation of women, sexuality, which was certainly part of the show in terms of the sexual being of being a pregnant woman, and what people almost expect of you, and what your desires are as a pregnant woman, which you explored to the humor and probably surprise of the audience.
Paris Undressed will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
We've all seen the Eiffel Tower. Cute at the Louvre, and picnicked on the steps of Sacré-Cœur. But a treasure hunt through the Marais, drag queen bingo in Belleville, graffiti art installations in abandoned warehouses in the 14th? Those are the unique Parisian experiences we don't want to let slip away. My name is Jennifer Garrity, and I'm the host of Don't Miss This. From art installations to authors' talks to tours to culinary ateliers and everything in between. Each week, Don't Miss This will fill you in on the best of what's going on in Paris. Don't Miss This airs every Sunday on Paris Underground Radio. If you think you've got something we should know about, please email us at hello@parisundergroundradio.com. Happy exploring!
Is Paris the most romantic city in the world? It is, but there's much more to its romantic allure than the Eiffel Tower. The Romancing in Paris podcast aims to reveal the true romantic essence of the city. Secret gardens, hidden historic sites, and terribly seductive bars. Join romantic expert and writer Lily Heisey as we discover the city's best romantic spots, ideal for both curious couples and lovers of Paris alike. Ready to experience the real romantic Paris? Tune into the Romancing in Paris podcast every Wednesday on Paris Underground Radio. Visit parisundergroundradio.com/romancing in Paris to listen and subscribe.
And now, back to Paris Undressed.
And you have a book that has just come out that is called Toutes les femmes sont des sirènes. It's your third book.
Yeah, the first one was Conversation with My Child. And then In Bed Citizens. And now every women are mermaids.
Every woman is a mermaid, yes. And it's a novel about a young journalist, Aurore, who I gather is somewhat shy and a little timid. And her assignment is to interview an aging novelist.
Yeah.
And it's these exchanges. So can you tell us a little bit, first of all, perhaps about the idea and the writing of the book?
Yeah. Well, as usual, it comes out from me and I cannot resist. It's like even if I can't choose. The subject is really coming from myself, from inside. And this time, I think, from a few years, I'm thinking about this, this society where the women, after 50 years, we don't see them, and it pissed me off. And so I was thinking about, I would like an heroine, which is after 50. And I would like this heroine to have desire, because there is no age to feel joy. I don't know if you understand me.
Absolutely.
And so it was the beginning of my thoughts, And then I thought, I don't want a novel, like a biography of an old woman, I don't want that. I thought, since Me Too, we don't have speak so much about the conversation in between women. So I thought I would like to write a conversation, and a conversation without hate, without judgment. Just two women, they speak and they listen to each other, and they are proud of themselves, proud to be women. And that's what I thought. And so I started to think about it. And so I thought it's a good idea to have an old woman and a young woman in Paris, actually. And then we have all these flashbacks from the 70s to explain a little bit to explain completely the adventures of this Louise, this old novelist.
Okay, and while you were writing it and you had this idea for it, was there something that you learned or discovered about yourself in the conversations of your two imaginary women that surprised you?
That is an excellent question. I think I was surprised about how much I can love women. Because I need to love my personage to write it down, and I was surprised how far I can go. And I think this is this is very important, and this is what I discover.
Almost an honoring and celebrating the woman or that you were yourself, and moving forward and going towards that we all are, and how there's room for all of that.
Yeah, and also honoring the differences. We are all different, and it's a good thing. We don't have. I can love you very much, even if you are very different from me. And this is also a thing I think we don't say enough this. We don't need to think the same to love each other. So this is also something important. My truth is not yours. Your truth is not mine. But we can still love each other.
And we can listen.
And we can listen. And I can change my mind also. This is important.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps in the conversation between women, we can also discover the power that we don't necessarily use to be able to change the narrative about us, So the fact that Louise is an aging says who, aging said determined by whom, we can decide whether Louise has something important to say or not, and give her space to say it. At the moment, the book is published in French, and it's a delight to read. The words, Julia has an incredible ability to be provocative, but within a thinking kind of way, and not as a way of pushing you away from an idea, but in a way of being able to introduce you to a different perspective of your own idea, and then just kind of give you a nudge into another way of thinking. And I think that's probably what I love about you most. We've known each other for a while, and our friendship developed in the writing of my book, Paris Undressed, where Julia, and we cannot have a conversation without this coming up, where Julia taught me about garter belts and stockings. And Julia, if you ever have a chance to cross paths with her in Paris, you will likely see her in high heels, garter belts and stockings. Tell us a little bit about garter belts and stockings, what they are, what they mean to you in your life, both as a young girl coming from Aix-en-Provence to Paris to motherhood to all of that, your love and your passion.
Okay, I think it's part of my dream, because when I was dreaming about all these movie stars from Hollywood, they were not barefoot. They were with high heels and stockings and everything, And the thing is how I became this woman that I dream of. Because during maybe around 20 years, let's say, I was dreaming of this woman, but I didn't know how to become this woman, It was like something outside of myself. I was just, they were these movie stars from Hollywood. They were my heroine. They were my dream, but I didn't know how to jump into, And it's really I have to admit, it's the burlesque in Paris, the burlesque theater, that has really count, because they have an easy way to put it. It's not like, it's gonna be something very hard to make attention, blah 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 blah. It's not something heavy, It's very light. It's like, what? You don't have stocking? Come on, I give you once. It's really easy. And so suddenly I thought, wow, it was It was so easy. I didn't think about it. I thought it was something really, complicated and really hard. And I thought it was another word, but it's the same word, It's very easy in reality. And so, yeah, it's really from with the girls from the burlesque theater. And then I was completely accro. I was completely,
Yeah, we say hooked. You were hooked. Yes, yeah. And you have it's not just something you dress up into or use for. You like to wear stockings underneath pants and pantsuits, and again combining this masculinity and femininity, and probably even more so. It really underscores this idea of what and how to wear lingerie for yourself. That these stockings are underneath; nobody can see them. They're for you underneath the pants, and yet it changes how you walk, how you feel, how you move.
Yeah, it changes everything. I mean, I always say, even if I have to go to a desert island, I will take my underwears. Yeah, because it's something. It's for myself. It's about how I feel. It's not about how people look at me. It's not about how people think about me or what they're gonna say about me. It's about how I feel. So it's completely different. And I feel better when I have my garter.
Your garter belt.
I just feel better.
Yeah.
My stockings, yeah. And it gives me power. It gives me sensuality. It gives me connection with myself.
Paris Undressed will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
What's the recipe for a successful cooking podcast? Hire some experienced hosts. I'm Omid Tavalai.
And I'm Alana McPherson Tavalai.
We're otherwise known as Emperor Norton. We've been doing this for years. Neither of us has lost any appendages.
You're not building confidence.
Don't make sweeping generalizations or engage in stereotypes, because that's what romantic couples do here in the City of Light and love and romance. Vous faites des burgers et des brownies. Skip the off-holiday humor. It's not like child exploitation or something. Do engage in woman-splaining.
Actually, a lot of recipes use both baking powder and baking soda.
Sprinkle liberally with dad jokes. I don't know what kind of baking powder I'm buying.
It's all single acting. Just so you know.
Just like the men here. They're single acting.
Help me.
And maybe actually a useful recipe once in a while. Tune in to The Transplant Kitchen, a podcast by two Californian chefs in France with a global mindset for cooking, on Paris Underground Radio.
While walking the streets of Paris, do curious details ever catch your eye? The city has a myriad of lieux cachés, or hidden places, and we uncover the most intriguing ones on the Paris Cachet podcast. If you're keen to explore Paris on a deeper level, then join Paris Cachet host Lily Heisey and a cast of zany historical figures from queens to angry mobs as we traverse the city and the centuries on our quest to discover the surprising stories behind these lieux cachés. The Paris Cachet podcast is available every other Sunday on Paris Underground Radio. Visit parisundergroundradio.com/Paris Cachet to listen and subscribe.
And now, back to Paris Undressed.
You tell us this story, a bit of an anecdote about how men react to you and how you react to them with the stockings.
Well, with the stockings, because it's a culture, it's something cultural. So the guys in the street, the guys, they don't know about it. They are afraid. They will never come to me because they for them it's like, wow, a woman is passing, So I never get in troubles with my stockings. This is really, and I made experiences, because when I realized it, I made experiences, and I realized that if I wear a jogging, for them I am accessible. But if I wear my stockings, my high heels, and my garter, how do you say again? Garter
belt.
Garter belt. They are afraid, and they kind of respect myself. So this is
when
interesting.
you first when you first told me that, the paradox, you know, where you, as a woman, I might think if I put on my sweatsuit that people will that makes me invisible and people will just leave me alone. And in fact, it was the reverse. And then when you put on all the sort of accoutrement or the possibly the dressing that one might think would act as a magnet, actually helped you create a power about yourself that was more independent.
Yeah, and it's like a mirror. It means more you act like a woman, more they feel they have to act like a man. So more I wear my stockings and my high heels and etc., more they feel like, oops, I need to be a man, or I don't say anything to this woman, And this is very interesting, actually, because a lot of women, they think, oh no, I just wear my jean and my t-shirt. But when you do that, the mirror is, it's okay. I don't need to act like a man because she doesn't act like a woman. It's kind of. And so this is what is happening.
It's a very interesting play on expectations and behavior. And it brings us to these two words that I thought I would, because language for you is very important. And there's perceptions, there's always this collective idea of language and a personal idea of language. And I'm going to say a few words and just don't think about it too much, but just what comes to mind when you hear them.
Okay.
Emancipation.
Life.
Freedom.
Like horizon.
The horizon.
Horizon.
Feminism.
Wow, this is big. Feminism, it's like power, women together, who won the world, girls. That's what's come in mind.
Femininity.
Femininity. Oh, it's like douceur. How do you say douceur?
Softness.
Softness and love, romanticism, true, something true about myself.
Pleasure.
Wow, pleasure. It's like it made me feel good and hot, and it's like why we are in this world for pleasure.
You talk a lot about the French word is jouissance.
Yeah.
And that your jouissance is enjoyment and pleasure and a way of living. And your perspective is to use this as almost as a mantra, as a way of asking questions about the way society runs, or the way we can look at ourselves, or the way society is and our place in it. Can you tell us a little bit more about how pleasure and jouissance, what it means for you?
For me, pleasure and jouissance means everything, because it's a global vision of jouissance. I can have jouissance with my friend when we are talking and we are connected. I can have jouissance when I drink a glass of wine, very good, or when I see the sun goes down, or, of course, when I make love, for sure. And I think when we make love, it's very profound.
Mm-hmm.
It's a profound joy. And it's everything because I think it's a choice that we can make to celebrate life. Life, we know it's short. And I think I have no time to be sad and depressed. And, I think it's my devoir. How do you say devoir?
My homework, my role.
It's my role to celebrate life as a human, I have a chance to be here, and so I need to celebrate. And of course, we all have drama in our lives. We all have bad things, But the difference is how we act, how we act when something bad happens to us. And I think we always have to celebrate, even if we have bad things in our lives that happens. I think it's important because it's like a chain, More you are in the jouissance, and more you go up in your life. That's my thought.
And it's something that I see with you, that it isn't something you take for granted. That doesn't just happen to you. You go and you provoke it. You invite it into your life, and you go and you meet it, and you keep raising the level of pleasure in life.
Yeah.
And that most definitely comes across in your songs, in your performances, and in your writing. Mm. And I'm not sure, do you have a copy of your book in front of you? What I would like to do is for you to read the dedication.
À tous ceux qui pensent que le désir des femmes doit être caché ou honteux, n'ouvrez surtout pas ce livre. À l'absolu, à la fureur de vivre, à ma fille Gina, entre toutes les femmes.
And that translates to all those who think that the desire of women should be hidden or shamed. Do not open this book. To the absolute, to the fury of life and living, to my daughter Gina, among all women. And I think that is just a very beautiful and elegant and extremely powerful message to leave on, really. So thank you very much, Julia, for joining us.
Thank you.
A delight and a pleasure to have you as our guest on Paris Undressed. And I look very much forward to seeing you soon again on stage. And for all of those listening, you will be able to find all the links about when that might happen as soon as possible. But thank you very much. Bisous,
thank
bisous.
You, Kay. Bisous.
Bisous.
Thank you, Julia, for joining us today. And in your honor and spirit, let's all dare to invite a little more joy and pleasure into our lives today. For more about Julia's book, music, and upcoming performances, visit her website, juliapalombe.com, or follow her on Instagram @juliapalombe. You can find the links in the show description. And thank you all. Merci for listening to Paris Undressed. Paris Undressed is produced by Paris Underground Radio. For more on this show and shows like it, please go to parisundergroundradio.com.